Welcome back, Hard Corners, to another edition of Dark Corners Undead.
Do you want to do it again where you don't fudge like the first line?
Yeah, sure, fine, why not? Welcome back, Hard Corners, to another edition of Dark Corners Undead, coming to you for the first time from our new studio. Can you tell the difference? Great. We've got lots to get through, as always. We've got the results of two of our votes for, well, no, just one of our votes for the next review you want to see, but two films tied. Night of the Ghouls and Crack in the World, you voted you'd like to see, same number of votes, so we're going to do both of them. Night of the Ghouls should be out next Tuesday, and Crack in the World the Tuesday after that. So thanks for voting. We'll do another one of those, not this time, but next time, because frankly we've got a bit behind on the ones that you guys have voted for, as we tend to. And we've also got the results, or the answers to all your Ask Dark Corners questions, which we asked you to send in, I don't know, I think it was spring. But we will now answer them.
Okay, are you ready?
I am ready. I have not seen these in advance, so this could go brilliantly.
So what you're saying is you never read the comments?
That is exactly what I'm saying.
Okie dokies.
But he does, so do keep commenting.
I do. Do you think that drive-ins are responsible for all the bad movies in the 50s, 60s and 70s, and home video responsible for the bad films of the 80s and 90s?
I don't know about responsible. No, they're not responsible. You know what? Drive-ins and VCRs don't make bad movies. People make bad movies.
Excellent.
But certainly most of them probably came through the drive-ins and VCRs.
I think now it's a lot of stuff is going straight to Netflix because horrors in general do really good business with the teenagers. Yeah. So films, which is why they crank them out like so fast, why we're up to like Saw 19 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there's a particular audience, and now your terrible films are going straight to Netflix.
Yeah. So that's a good thing about the digital age. It's much easier to see crap films.
Wait for it. Are there any 50s and 60s monster films you generally enjoy? Or genuinely enjoy?
I don't know if you count them as monster movies, but the Ray Harryhausen ones I love. Genuinely love them. And there are other ones, some of the Godzilla ones are fun. I'm not sure if I'd say I particularly like them, but I enjoy them.
Cool.
Is that a fair answer?
Yeah, but what are some of the best Harryhausens? For
someone who's never heard of Ray Harryhausen.
Idiot who's never seen a Ray Harryhausen film.
All the Sinbad ones I love, and obviously Jason and the Argonauts. I kind of think 20 Million Miles to Earth is a little underrated, because we've been asked to review that, but actually I really enjoyed that film. You
do seem to have a policy of not reviewing any Harryhausen.
Yes, that's an absolute policy. Sorry. I know that Guanji's not particularly brilliant, but it's got the brilliant Allosaurus in it, and the same is true of Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. Beast from 20,000 Fathoms is basically any monster movie. It's that bad, but it has this great monster in it called the Redosaurus, which doesn't exist.
Okay, the next question is, how was it decided that you would be in front of the camera while, and I quote, the other is always behind the camera? Is the cameraman / director Robin's formerly conjoined twin that lives in a wicker basket?
It was decided by a fight. I lost. And so that's how it's worked out this way. Is he my conjoined... No, he's not my formerly conjoined twin, but he does live in a basket.
It's true.
We throw him bones every now and then. Bateman.
What old school monster film would you like to see remade?
I mean, generally speaking, none of them. I feel like there's room for a new version of The Mummy. I like the Karloff version, but it is a bit slow. I just feel like there's room for a different take on that story, rather than the sort of across the centuries romance, which I've never been quite so fond of. And the ones that, what's the guy's name? Whatever, the modern ones with...
Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser. I was trying to think of the director, but yeah, those ones. They're fun, but they're not horror in any way. I think it's a long time since there was like a horror mummy.
So, but you know that at the moment, because Disney has its Marvel franchise, its Marvel universe, Warner Brothers has its DC universe,
Oh, I know where
and
this is
Universal wants their universe, and they're talking about doing like a Dracula film, Frankenstein film, Wolfman film, and then like, I guess the classic monster movie, Avengers Justice League movie.
Yeah. Which, don't get me wrong, I think that'll be awful. But I think if they did it
What's
right,
the
if
point?
they really do it right,
Thing is,
that could be great.
We know it's going to be awful because there was a film not too long ago, Van Helsing.
Yeah.
Which was that?
Which is, yeah, that was really awful.
So,
But yeah, but if someone took it upon themselves to do it right, I'm not a huge fan of the Marvel films, but they do it right. As long as they don't try and make them super... Yeah, those are the things they're not allowed to do with that. Make them into superheroes and try to give them like some sort of sad backstory where they're the victims. Let them be fucking monsters.
is there a scenario where Dracula, Frankenstein, and the Wolfman really do exist in the same universe?
Is there a scenario?
That would work in a film.
Yeah. There you go. I don't see why there shouldn't be.
What was the 80s one that was quite good for that comedy? Like Monster something.
Monster Squad.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that was fun when it came out and I was about 5 and I thought it was great. I probably wasn't 5.
That might be the best teaming of the classic Universal monsters.
It might be. Although Abbott and Costello is probably.
Yeah. So comedy is how we think that.
I don't want it to go
solved.
comedy. I want someone to do a proper old school gothic movie. No.
Okay.
That's a very long answer to that.
That's all right. Yes. What is not only the worst movie you've seen, but the most offensive?
Does it have to be offensive sort of racially or just offensive to me?
Offensive to you?
Peter Jackson's King Kong.
Ah.
I'm massively offended by that.
Are there any films that are largely disliked, but you actually like? Sharknado is one, I know.
No. I don't know. Maybe I'm really boring and just and stereotypical and I just like the same things everyone else likes. Or at least dislike the same things that everybody else dislikes.
You're more classical in your tastes.
Yes.
Than modern mainstream audiences.
Yes.
So,
there are lots of films that other people like that I dislike. I'm not a big fan of Lord of the Rings. I'm not a big fan of The Dark Knight. That whole trilogy, both those trilogies. You couldn't make me watch The Hobbit. I don't think most people like
enough
that.
time
But the other way around, kind of not. I'm really more in the disliking business than the liking.
It's weird. It doesn't come across in this show. What is your most hated movie to review?
My most hated of the movies we've reviewed,
Yeah,
which was the one I enjoyed the least.
Nearly 150 movies we've reviewed, which is...
Can I count one that hasn't come out yet?
No.
Okay. I really, really didn't like The Wizard of Gore. But I'm sure that was supplanted by something I saw this year, and I can't remember what now. But Wizard of Gore was one. I don't think it's necessarily the worst made one. It's not well made, but I don't think it's the worst made. There are worse, but it really... I found it so boring.
And also you don't like blood and gore.
I don't mind it when it's obviously fake. It's yeah.
I think the worst films are the ones which are boring.
Yes, absolutely.
Like Plan 9 from Outer Space is a terrible film, but it's really fun.
Yeah.
In its craptasticalness.
Yeah. Whereas Monster A Go-Go from the same sort of vintage is just boring.
Yes. Monster A Go-Go is really boring.
Any of the films that have been stapled together from other films or picked up years after the event, I find hateful and lazy and pointless.
Why don't you once a month review a classic sci-fi, like, say, Forbidden Planet?
Because we struggle to get out what we already do. I mean, God, when was the last time we did an Undead? But thanks for your question, because we don't have time.
Cool. That's it for this edition of Ask Dark Corners.
Yeah, so that was fun. Send us more to it, because we sort of forgot about the Ask Dark Corners thing. So yeah, send us more Ask Dark Corners. Send us more questions for Ask Dark Corners. And yeah, keep watching, keep sharing. We'll see you next time. Gangosaurus Rex, that was it. That's the worst film. That's not as bad. I still hate King Kong more, but Gangosaurus Rex was the worst one to review. That was so dull.